So all these years later, here we are, just 1 month away from the historic meeting in Copenhagen, Denmark, where all of the nations of the world are about to gather to try to get a treaty that accelerates the movement to solve the climate crisis and bring about reductions in the global warming pollution. I was with a group of environmentalists a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said, "How do you feel about Copenhagen?" And somebody next to me said, "Well, I feel fine." And it made me think of a story that I heard, oh gosh, it's probably been 30 years ago now, when I was a young congressman in rural Middle Tennessee, an agricultural district running from Kentucky to Alabama. And I used to have town hall meetings all through the weekends, and I had finished 5 town hall meetings that Saturday. And late at night, I was driving back to my home in Carthage, Tennessee, and I was listening to the Grand Ole Opry on the radio. And I don't know if there are any country music fans down here in South Florida, but I know there's some, but I was listening, and there was a wonderful woman, a comedian named Cousin Minnie Pearl. And she wore that big straw hat with a price tag hanging off it. Her real name was Sarah Cannon. She was a lovely lady and really a wonderful person. But she had this country comic act, and she was from Grinder's Switch. And she told a story. I probably told it 1,000 times in the years since, but I recalled it when my friend made that comment. She told the story about the farmer who was involved in an accident, and he sued for damages. And the driver of the other vehicle hired a lawyer, and that lawyer cross-examined the farmer on the witness stand. And the lawyer said, "Now, isn't it true that immediately after this accident you said, 'I feel fine'?" And the farmer said, "Well, it's not that simple. You see, I was driving my cow to town in the back of my truck, and this feller came driving across the center line, and the lawyer said, 'I object. Wait a minute, Your Honor, we're in the middle of a trial here. We don't want to hear a long story. Just answer the question yes or no. Did you or did you not say immediately after the accident, 'I feel fine'?" And the farmer said, "Well, I was leading up to that. You see, I was driving my cow to town in the back of my truck, and this feller came driving across the center line and ran right smack dab into my truck, knocked it over and threw me out and threw the cow out. I was on one side and the cow was on the other. And the highway patrolman came up and he took one look at that cow and said, she is suffering. Pulled out his gun and shot her right between the eyes." Came around to my side of the truck and said, "How do you feel?" So I said, "I feel fine." Now, the point of that story is the alternative to not getting an agreement in Copenhagen is unacceptable.